So as you can see, I'm on a Windows box, and on my Windows box, I've installed WSL, and it's fully updated. I have my username. I'm logged into my WSL. And if I look, I have projects inside my WSL that I've been playing with. And I'm going to make my first directory. So I'm just going to mkdir, and I'm going to make, doesn't really matter. It's not going to have anything in it. I'm just going to call it test demo, something like that. Okay. And if I look using the ls command, it's right here, test demo. That's pretty much all I have to do inside WSL. There might be some other stuff I'm going to have to do, but I'm just going to follow what Cursor tells me to do. Now when I go into Cursor, let me open up Cursor. When I'm in Cursor, I'm going to open project. Okay, so I click open project, and up here I'm just going to go backslash. Well, let's highlight the whole thing and just go backslash WSL.localhost. And then as soon as I put that in, I'll get this Ubuntu right here. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to take me into my Windows Explorer, go into Home, into my username, and then into Projects. And then I'll see all these different projects I'm working on, and I will go into Test Demo, and there's nothing there. So I'm going to select that folder. All right. Now, this is how this cursor shows up when I'm doing it here. Okay. I do not like Cursor showing up like this, and I'm already connected into WSL. But if you're not connected into WSL already, you need, I think, to get the right, I think it's called a plugin. Okay. So you can go, I want to say maybe File, Preferences. Oh, it's Extensions, right? So if you click on Extensions, you can just type in WSL. And I'm pretty sure it's this one here. Okay, so version 1, it's like built in now. It used to not be, but that's the one that you're going to want. Install it, restart Cursor, and I think that is the one that you're going to need to do it. Once you do that and restart Cursor, this is how I like to have my system set up. You do not have to have it set up this way, but I feel like it works well for me and how I do it. And I spend probably 12 hours a day playing in this. So I like to come up here, and I'm going to click on my, I'm going to turn off agents, turn off chat, turn on editors, turn off editors, and put on the bottom panel, because I like the bottom panel, and turn off this, I like the sidebar too. So I'm going to turn off chat again, because it didn't go off, and I think that's pretty much it. So you can save it. What I like to do is, this is my layout 1. Okay, so I saved it as layout 1, and I go in there, and that's my layout 1. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click on Terminal. Okay, and it's going to open up this PowerShell terminal, and I don't want to use PowerShell terminal. PowerShell terminal does not work well when you're inside Linux, and you can tell you're inside Linux because it says WSL localhost, and it's giving you your location. So you come over here, and you do this little drop down, and you click on Ubuntu WSL. And you'll get this Ubuntu WSL if you have the plugin installed or what extension installed, and you've actually logged in through using the open folder, which I just showed you how to do. When you click WSL, it kind of opens up this really cool looking little, like it looks just like a prompt that you would get from the, like if you're in a Linux command line. Okay. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm just going to close this PowerShell. I don't need to use it. So I'm close. I close PowerShell, hit that little thing. If I want to open up another WSL, I can open up a second one. So now I have 2. I can have 3, 4. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to have one open right now. And at this point, this is when I type in Claude. Now I already have Claude installed. If you want install Claude from a regular old Cursor, just go ahead and do that. But once I hit enter, it's going to go into Claude. Okay, it says, do I want to trust? Yes, I want to trust. Okay, now this is an empty project right now. There's nothing in this project. Okay, and at this point, I probably want to go and just leave this here, and I want to go into my Amazon and set up my Amazon. So I'm going to go into my Amazon. This is my AWS. This is the one I use for fun. And I'm going to go into Lightsail. I have a couple servers sitting in there. and I'm just going to create a new instance in Lightsail. Okay, I'm going to click on operating systems only, and I'm going to pick this Ubuntu 2404 LTS, and I'm going to just call it, I'm going to pick this $5 a month one. It's going to be the first 90 days are free. After that, it's going to cost a little bit of money. Be careful, don't pick these ones down here. That's awesome. And I'm going to call this test demo, and I'm going to delete this when I'm done. And I'm going to come over here and click create instance. Okay, so I have my test demo. It's loading up, everything's starting up, and you can see I have like a textbook one here where I keep, and I have some other ones that I'm playing with over here too. And right now it's giving me this weird IP address, but it doesn't have this little tack by it. Okay, you want a static IP address, and I'm not sure if they charge for it or not. Let's see if this will, if it's already running. Yeah, it's already running. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to manage. I just click on it, manage it. So I'm going to go into networking, and I'm going to attach a static IP address, and that's going to make it so that I can. I'm just going to call this IP address test demo. Now it might charge like $1 a month. Okay. Some names already in use, test demo, IP. All right, great. Doesn't like it that it was already called test demo somewhere else. So now I've got my static IP address. I'm gonna click continue, acknowledged. Here's my static IP address. Now I'm gonna copy that and save it for later somewhere that I know where it is. Okay. And then I'm gonna, in networking also, I want to scroll down and I want to add a rule, just one little rule for HTTPS. Okay, I'm gonna click create. All right, and that at this point, we probably need to go in and create a new. So I'm gonna go into security. Let's find security. So help instance networking. Let's go back to instances, test demo, and I don't see security. Maybe it's under networking. Storage, snapshot, connect. Connect is where it's going to be. SSH. This instance was created using SSH key, and I have it already for another one, but you'll want to create an SSH key, which you can watch another video on that. I don't want to get it too far into that one. So then what I like to do at that point, go back to my test demo. I'm going to copy in the key, the .pem key that I downloaded. I'm going to put it right in here. Okay. So let me see if I can't find a key like that somewhere, and I'll just paste it right in. All right. So I went and found the key. I'm going to delete these. These come with it when you copy things over into Linux. You don't need these other files. They're just little Dropbox files. So I have my key, and now I have this thing. I've got my server up and running. I've got the static IP address. Okay. So I'm going to go back over to the website, and I'm going to look in lesson 4, and down towards the bottom of lesson 4, you're going to see a whole lot of code. It's a nice big thing of code, and it's going to tell you, I'm just going to paste that right in. Okay. And I'm going to hit enter. And while it's doing its thing, well, I just hit escape, because escape took it into interrupted mode. Okay. Now I'm going to hold the shift button down and hit tab twice, and it gets me into plan mode. Okay. This plan mode is super important because it's going to use less tokens, and it's going to think about things a lot more than just going out and doing something. Okay. So I'm going to get it into plan mode, and I might just paste that whole thing over again while it's in plan mode. Okay. Now I'm just going to hit enter. And now it's going to go in here, and it's going to start saying stuff like, let me go into plan mode and think about this and start reading what's inside your whole directory. Okay. That's the cool part about Claude, is it can understand directories. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about what's inside this file. Inside this file, it tells it the infrastructure. It says we're using Lightsail AWS, Ubuntu 2404 LTS. We're going to use MySQL 8 point whatever, and we're going to use the Nginx. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, the web server. We're not using Apache. We're using this other one. And then we're going to use WSL for our development environment. and go through here, and here's the rest of our stack that we're going to use. Okay. Now it comes down here and it says, okay, well, what should the Go module be? What path should it be? And okay, so what this is asking is, what is your GitHub path? Okay. And I have not created the GitHub yet. So if I go out to GitHub, let me just bring that over here. If I'm in GitHub, I can click a new repository, and I'm going to call this one test demo. And I'm going to set it equal to private, and then I'm going to click create repository. And it's pretty fast. I'm just going to grab this line here that says code. I can close that. I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to come down here, and instead of just pasting it in there, I'm going to come down here to 3, type something, and I'm just going to hit right. I'm going to right click on it, and it's going to paste that in. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to say backend port. Which port should the backend run locally? And I said, okay, 8080 is fine, because 8080 just means when you go localhost 8080, what's it going to do here? Okay, so I'm going to hit enter, and then do you want me to include the basic actions for workflow? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But for right now, we'll click yes and keep it recommended and hit enter. All right. The one thing that we're missing is our IP address. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab that static IP address, and I'm just going to paste it in and hit enter. And it's going to still work, and then eventually it's going to be like, oh, let me just see what you added. And it's going to say, oh, okay, oh, I got your IP address now. So you notice it's still, I guess, wibbling. And it's going to think, it's like, oh, okay, I got your IP address. Oh, I see you provide an IP address. I assume this is for your Lightsail server. I'll go ahead and update this deployment configuration. Okay. So it's going to start putting all of this in. Okay. And now it has the plan. Okay. So it built this big plan. Okay. And in the plan, it's like, what we're going to do is build a web design for an AI book. And we don't necessarily want it to be for an AI book. So we can call it what we want. Okay. And then it comes down and it says we're going to create these different configuration files, and we're going to have a couple working examples locally, and we're going to send stuff up to GitHub, and yes, we should auto accept. Okay. So at this point, if I hit enter, it's going to go ahead and build out our framework for the website. Okay. And we don't have to understand the code. We just have to know that it's going to build out the framework for our website. Okay. Now I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to start building everything out. And it's going to think about it for a second, and it knows, but I'm going to hit pause real quick. Just so, and you see how I hit enter, I hit escape, and it went to pause. I'm going to drag this multi-site pen and just put it right here. And I'm going to tell it, and actually, I'm using this really cool thing. Well, I'll do that. I'll show you that some other time. But I'm just going to say, go to the server and set it up for the first time. And it knows the IP address, and it now knows how to get into that server. Okay. So now it's going to jump out there, and it's going to go, and this is the really cool part, it's going to manage that server for you. It's going to log in, it's going to install the web server for you, and it's going to install Apache for you. So we're going to say, if I hit 2, it's going to say, don't ask again, and it's going to work a little bit faster. Okay. So if I hit 1, it says, ask me every time you want me to do something. If I hit 2, most of the time it will go a little bit faster. All right, so we're looking at it. Now it's going to say, oh, I'm going to test it. I'm going to jump out there right now and see what's on the server. So I'm like, all right, go out on the server and test it. So I'm going to hit 2 again, and it's going to connect in, and it just used Ubuntu to get in there. And now it's logging in with the key, and now it's in. So it's on our server right now, and it is looking to see what's installed. It's going to know what's not installed, and it should do an update of all of the server and get all the latest and greatest server software. Fresh server with limited RAM, creating swap space. Oh, wow, it even did that. So we picked a smaller server and didn't have a lot of RAM, and it knows that the software we're going to use is going to do some, so it's going to actually grab what they call swap space. Not a big deal. It's doing that on its own. So it is now setting up the server. Okay, it's downloading a bunch of security patches for it, and it's going to install the web server for us. And then it should even ask us to install the database. All right, so I'm going to let you guys play with this. I don't necessarily have to walk you through every one of these steps. So just know that you can let Claude have the actual server itself. It can manage the server. It can also use GitHub. So it knows what your GitHub is now, and you can tell it, you know what, push this to GitHub. Now, I guess the one other thing I should show you real quick is in your GitHub. Let's see if we can find it. In GitHub, let's come up here and go to GitHub, and in that last repository that we did, so we'll go to test demo. All right, in test demo, if I go to settings and I come down here to secrets and variables and click on actions, it's going to want me to add some repository keys. So this is where you'll add them. Once you click in the repository key, you'll put the key name up here and the secret down here. Okay? That's how that works. Do not add spaces. So if it says put the contents of your PEM file here, that works pretty good. But if you got to be real careful about white space. Do not delete the white space in the PEM file. If you copy and paste it directly, that's perfectly fine. What we're going to do is this is your environmental variables here. And when we go to actions, it's going to set up in actions on how to create a workflow to send as you deploy automatically out to your Lightsail server. Okay, so that's going to become automatic. But you got to have those set up first. Okay, and that was part of the instructions which we gave it, was to be automatic. So if we're looking out here, it's still doing the install. It'll walk through a bunch of little default stuff. If you have any questions, just put it into ChatGPT as it's working and give Chat a pretty good heads up about what you're actually working on, and it should help you walk through the rest of this. All right, and then when you're finished with all this, finish the task from before. Say, go ahead and finish your tasks from before. And then when you're finished with that, you're going to just simply say, go ahead and commit and push to GitHub. And if you get any errors, like you might get some errors in GitHub. You might get some errors right in here. Just grab the errors from the GitHub and paste it in, and it will actually fix it. It'll go here. It will change the YAML, and that'll all get changed for you, and it will push it back out to GitHub, and hopefully that will work. Anyway, super excited. This is your very first thing on how to do web design. Hopefully this is my first time teaching this class, so it should be super fun. I look forward to seeing everybody on Monday nights. If you have any questions, come on Monday nights, and we will answer all your questions during office hours. And have a great week.